Welcome into the Fit Parent Podcast. I am Jeff Delzell. I'm here with Amy.
Hello.
And we we have no drinks right now.
We're sober.
if you listen to the last episode, we did a podcast with cocktails, and it would be, I feel inappropriate. Yeah, it was great. But at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, it feels like it would be a bit aggressive to be with cocktails right now. So
I mean, 10 a.m. on a Saturday or a Sunday, that's brunch. So like
100%.
That's allowed.
Yeah, on a
Tuesday.
On a Tuesday that when I have to be like a functioning person later on today.
Yeah, and I'm podcasting in my daughter's bedroom, so like even weirder if I were drinking a big old glass of wine in my kids' room at 10 a.m.
That would be
layer.
Concerning. That would be concerning. Okay, so
as it is, I love podcasting here. There's like toys that I can play with during the podcast, so I'm like very into it. So much makeup.
No, she's not wearing makeup.
Oh my god, she has more than I do, and she knows how to put it on. She taught me how to do eye makeup a couple months ago, and now that's how I do it.
That's upsetting.
Well, she watches YouTube videos, and yeah, but also still has like little tiny toy things. So like she's still quite a young child.
Yeah, well, that's what is upsetting to me, right? Is that like I have that version.
Yeah.
You know, and like you have a hatch behind you. Like you have a hatch nightlight on the thing behind you
that plays bird sounds to wake her up because she's a princess.
Yeah, and she's put up like, and it also upsets me because that means that I'm not that far away from Charlotte doing it, because she already loves her nails getting done. Like she is little girl's girl, and she is all about it, and I love that for her, but it's terrifying for me because she's
just wait. Emma's very into fake nails, like really long fake nails.
No.
Yeah, like they're all like, there are nails sitting on the desk because I'm using her room. So there's like little stick-on nails sitting on the desk that she'll put on, and then she like points at everything differently when she has her nails on, and like taps at things. I'm like, can you not?
Clickety clack, clickety clack.
Oh, it drives me bonkers.
Oh, that's frustrating. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
that was the parenting part of the podcast.
Yeah. Well, it all intertwines. So, the day that this goes live is Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. So we're recording this not on that day, but that's when this will be live. So you're listening to this. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. If you're not in the States, hope you had a good Thursday. Yeah. In November. Oh, good November. And I'm just going to say this from the top, and then we'll jump into like what it is. But just, if you're listening to this and you haven't already, know that I have a Black Friday deal for coaching where I'll give you extra time. Like I'll cover time for you if you decide to sign up in November, and so this is your kind of last shot on it. And so just DM me Black Friday so I know that that's what you're looking to do, or last call, whatever you want to do. If you're listening to this and it's December 1st or something like that, you can still, you know what I mean? Like if we're December 18th, yeah, okay, sorry, too bad, so sad. But if it's the first week of December and you're just now listening to this, you can still kind of do it. But that's kind of where I want to land. Why do I do it for that period of time? And that's going to be sort of the information about the mindset going into the end of the year. So that's really what I want to do with this, is how do we finish the year strong? How do we finish the year strong? So there's two sides to this, and I'll tell a story to start. I have always been a good starter of things. Like I'm an ideas man, like I have good ideas, and then it's not that I get necessarily distracted. It's that motivation wanes,
Mm-hmm.
as it does. And so if you are watching on video, you will see a few things that I'm about to point out behind me. So this was originally, when we bought this house, this was like a raw basement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was cement floor, cement halfway up the walls or most of the way up the walls, open on these walls. It was like studs with open insulation. You know what I mean? Just
Mm-hmm.
raw basement. And if you were to look behind me now, you're like, it looks like a room. Like it looks like
It does look like a room.
a room. Because there's walls and there's a ceiling. The ceiling was open. Like it was just like like 2 hanging bulbs. Like it was with a click
Horror movie.
like a click light, and
yeah.
it was not sketchy, but that was what it was when we moved into the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I wanted it to be my gym, and then it ended up turning into my office when I realized that I couldn't really share office space with the kids' playroom. Like it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Because that was where originally it was. If you go back to the early episodes, even ones that you and I did, I was recording in upstairs, like above me, where the playroom is in the corner of the room, and like you could see like kids' toys behind me on the floor. But it was just, there was too many days where there would be kids in the house for me to try to work during that time. And so moved my desk down here. And so my desk is here, gym space is behind me. And I mean, we spent, not a ridiculous amount of money on it, but like I did some of it. And then I realized the idea of me, because I've done drywall. So I drywalled this wall myself, this one on this side. And I drywalled this wall myself for a while. It was fine, but the idea for me to like drywall and ceiling and tape and paint and sand and all of that, it was going to take me way too much time, when at the time the kids were 3 under 3 or 3 under 2. It was just like, I'm going to take 4 weekend days to try to pull this off. Like it wasn't necessary. It wasn't not worth doing, but it was just, I would rather at that point, I was like, I'm just going to try to pay somebody to do this, because they'll do it faster, better, probably. And, it'll just get done. So I paid somebody to come in and drywall it. And then I painted it. And then I put the flooring down. So I don't know if I can tilt it down. You can kind of see like it's rubber flooring.
Oh yeah.
Like
I love that stuff.
It's the matte flooring, like at a gym. And so it covers the whole room. Like it covers the whole room. And so it's a nice little room, but I had visions for how I was going to finish it off, that I was like, I'm not going to pay the person to do this, because I can just do these things. And so over this corner right here, you can see that's the under the stairs hole. Right? So that's the space under the stairs that's for storage. And there's currently storage in there. And there's lights in there. Like I had them, when they did the can lights that are above my head, I had them put a light in there with a click thing so they could do it. And I was like, I'm just going to put a door on there. I'm going to like build a door. I'm not going to put a real door, because it's like a weird thing. Because this is what my parents had in their house, because I helped my dad finish our basement when I was growing up. And we basically just took a slab of wood, like like butcher block almost, and just cut it to the size of that hole and put hinges on it. And then we had a door. Like it was super simple. And I was like, I can do that. Not a problem. Like I don't need to pay somebody to do that. And then behind me is, like directly behind my head when I record this podcast, is our electrical, our circuit breaker. And it's on this like cork board type thing. And so again, what we did at my parents' house growing up was that we built out kind of like almost a cubby around it with doors that opened up with, cork board in front of them. And that was my vision for that. I was like, I'll just, a couple 2x4s, put some stuff on there, hinge it. You can access it if you want to, but that'll be sort of the deal with that. They finished this drywall like 2 years ago.
And it is recording in this space for a while, and it's
for a long time. There's also like over here a hole in the wall where we pulled out like a space heater that was like embedded on the wall, that there's just a hole in the drywall and the wall. There's like open spaces up there. There's no trim around the bottom edges of the drywall, so it's just drywall and then floor. There's no floorboard basically. So it's not finished. And it's been unfinished for years. And every time I come down, it's a reminder of the fact that I haven't done it, right? Like there's not been a single day where I've come down here and been like, like every single time I'm on this and I go like this and I see this circuit breaker and behind me, I'm like, it's just such a rough look. It's just such a rough look. Or this open thing over this shoulder. I'm like, it's just, oh man, like I really wish that I had done it. Or I go to film a workout over in front of there where the hole is, and I'm like, there's a freaking hole behind me in the wall. Just just like a random, like oddly shaped hole in the wall, and it doesn't look, and again, who cares? Because it's just me who's down here. But at the same time, it's like, it just didn't finish the thing. It shouldn't finish the thing. And I think that there's something almost more maddening about something left unfinished than something left unstarted.
Oh, 100%.
Like, if your doggo is in the back. If we never start something, there's absolutely a pain that comes with that. There's absolutely a frustration that comes with that. It's because we get down the phrase of like it's better to have tried and failed than to have never tried at all, and that's 100% true. But there's a difference between trying and failing and trying and not finishing. Like, it wasn't that I attempted to put the door up and couldn't figure it out.
Right.
It was that I have never gone to the store to get the stuff. I've never measured it. Like I haven't even, like, it's to some degree, it's like I never tried that part of it, but like within the plan of what I was going to do with the basement, I didn't finish it because
it waned.
It wasn't because I didn't know what to do or I wasn't capable of doing. I've done it before. Like, honestly, this would take me 2 hours, including going to the store, to do this. And I just haven't taken the 2 hours to do it. And it's because I'm like, it's good enough.
It's good enough.
It's good enough. That
phrase a lot at my house. That's good enough.
It's good enough. And
it's one of the most common phrases here.
In some areas, I don't dislike the good enough phrase. I think that there's value in not trying to be perfect. But when it comes to, like, there's a difference between not trying to be perfect and still trying to finish, right? Completion versus perfection. So I'll give an analogy that might be helpful. When I was teaching, if I give a test or an assignment or whatever it is, and somebody was to turn it in where they attempted every problem, but didn't really know how to do, like, hit a roadblock on half the problems or something like that. But they went as far as they could and they attempted every problem and they turned it in. It's like, that's as good as I can do. Like, that's good enough. That's about it. That's what I have in the tank, versus the person who did 3 out of the 4 pages and said, that's good enough. They both might get a 75. Right? Like, one person did 3/4 of the problem and hit a wall, and the other person did 3/4 of the page and 3/4 of the pages. And that's good. I am going to be furious with the kid who just opted out of finishing when they could have finished versus the kid who went as far as they were capable of going and didn't do it perfectly and were satisfied with their effort. Right? So if in terms of perfection versus completion, right? Like if I attempt it and I give it my all, like this is the look in the mirror, John Wooden definition of success. Like you have the self-satisfaction of knowing you did the best that you were capable of doing. If you still fall short of quote unquote perfection, I think you can walk away and feel good about that. And that's where good enough is good enough. Like having the standard of I'm going to be perfect when it comes to my nutrition, for instance, like I'm going to eat every meal flawlessly, I think is setting you up for failure. I think that is an unrealistic expectation, and you're not opting out of it by choosing to enjoy some of your favorite foods. I think that if we are in the mindset though of so two different scenarios with eating now, if I go Monday to Thursday and I eat quote unquote perfectly Monday to Thursday, and then I say good enough for the week, and then I just mail it in for the weekend, that's where it's like you just didn't finish. You just didn't finish. You showed that you were capable of it. You just didn't finish. Versus the person who is only okay, but only okay most of the week, that person is going to see more long-term success because it's not that they're opting out of doing the thing that they know that they're capable of doing. It's that they have reached a ceiling on their current capability. And so when I look at what's behind me, I have just said, nah, it's good enough because I don't really care. And so this is what I've had to come to terms with. And this is what we have to come to terms with if we're not going to finish. If you're not going to finish, you have to come to terms with the fact that this is like, I'm cool if this doesn't
This is how it's going to look. Yeah. Yeah.
This is how it's going to look. And for me, I'm like, I'm the only one who uses this. I don't care that much. It bothers me, but like not enough for me to do anything about it. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. Here's the thing though that infuriates me about this to me. About me. What infuriates me about this is when we go to sell this house, I'm going to do all those damn projects.
Yep.
For somebody else.
Yep.
And that right there is enough for me to say, all right, I got to do it. I got to do it. There's no reason for me not to do it. Because what's going to end up happening is at some point, it needs to get finished. It's way more infuriating to try to finish it when you're also trying to start something else than it is to finish it when it's supposed to be finished. This is the analogy, if you haven't got it already, of the year. I haven't been that subtle about it, but
you really have
like if you go through, but hopefully that was helpful because we were like tracking it throughout but if we go into December and we just mail in what we're capable of doing for the rest of December, you're going to have to do it. But you're going to have to do it in January when you'd rather be doing other things. And so then you're going to end up in a situation where then it becomes way more stressful to do January. Just like it's going to be way more stressful for me to try to put our house on the market knowing that I have 15 projects to have to finish because I didn't do them throughout the time. Because I just didn't finish anything. This was a little bit, again, this is going to be full of analogies, but when I used to coach football, this was a big thing that we had to teach one of our teams. So we had one team that was excellent, that won the state championship. I don't remember if we went undefeated, or I think we went undefeated and won the state championship. If we had one, we might have had one loss. No, we did have one loss. No, I don't think we did. But it was because we did a scrimmage before the season, and we knew that this team was going to be really, really good. Like, we just knew that they were going to be really, really good. And we were like, we're the only ones who can stop us from winning the state championship. Like, we were like, it was going to be us. And they knew it too. The players knew it too. They were like, we're going to be really good if we, do what we can do. And they kind of got too big for their britches, as 16, 17, 18-year-old boys
tend to do.
And so we were scrimmaging, and we got a couple of good plays, and then they got lax, and they started kind of goofing off on the sideline. They started like not doing all of their things, whatever it was. And the scrimmage became a game. And again, it was a scrimmage, so like, who cares? But it became a game because they let their guard down, and they didn't finish the game well. And that year, I coached the wide receivers. I was the wide receiver coach and the assistant offensive coordinator that year. And I was teaching them, because we kept on dropping passes, like deep ball passes, like long passes, because they would try to catch them like over their shoulder, and they would drop them because they couldn't track the ball over their shoulder.
Right.
And so I was where I was teaching them. I think I told the story of Frankie, where I had to I was like, hey, you got to turn back and look at the football. And I think I told this story in the context of like how I coached, and like I'm relatively more mild mannered, but I was like, hey, we got to turn back and look back for the football so we don't drop it. And what ended up happening was, in that scrimmage, that we still won, but it was way closer than it was like a D3 school who was terrible. And we had to like, pull some heroics to try to pull it off at the end. He dropped a pass, kind of not finishing the play because he didn't turn back for the ball. He dropped a touchdown pass that would have essentially sealed the game for us at that point. And so then we were in a little bit of a dogfight. And so then the next day in practice, I've told this story, we were like doing deep ball passes where I was like, hey, we're going to like, we dropped the touchdown pass on this. We're all going to do this. And it was like kind of, Frankie was the exhibit A, and he was faster than any kid. He got open all the time, but he wouldn't finish the play because he wouldn't catch the ball where it is. And he tried again in practice. I threw him one, it hit him in the hands, but he tried to catch it over his shoulder, and I yelled at him. And I never yelled really on the football field, except for in like a goofy, exasperated voice, like, come on, like I would do that. But like, actually, like, dude, like I will bench you. You will not see another down if you do not do the things that I'm telling you that you need to do, because I don't care if you're open all the time. We can't throw you the ball if you won't finish the play. And you're not finishing the play because you're not doing what you're capable of doing. You're not doing the simple thing that you're asked because you're trying to do it in such a way that it feels better. You're like, I see Randy Moss doing this, and bro, you're not the third greatest wide receiver ever. Right, like, you're just not. Like, you're not the second, maybe. Like, you're not in that caliber, so you can't just do it that way. Like, you have to stay vigilant with it, otherwise we're gonna lose. And from that point on, every single time he went and caught a ball, he turned back and caught it. And the whole team saw that happen. And it was the head coach Justin Huft, like, used that as an example of like, we like that scrimmage and that moment of like, we're not finishing, and you guys won't finish the year. Like, you will not finish the year with a championship if you don't finish every single game. And we just went, and all year we blew the doors off of people. We were like, we didn't even like, it was, nobody coasted, nobody did anything. And so then when we were in like fights with like good teams, they knew how to play a whole game. They knew how to play a whole game because they did it when it wasn't that hard. So then they knew how to do it. Like, they were up for it when it was hard. But the flip side is also true, which is, if you can't, the best time to do anything is when it's hard. Because if you can do it when it's hard, then you are guaranteed to be able to do it when it's easy. Like, because this is the time of year where it's like, yeah, it's hard. We talked about it on the last episode. It's harder. There are more opportunities for you to indulge, and there's more stress happening in your life. Like, those two things are a hard combination to try to navigate. This past weekend, Megan was gone. She went to visit one of her girlfriends who lives in Virginia with another girlfriend. They went down to surprise her for her birthday, and they went down there for the long weekend. So, or like for a long weekend. So she was gone Saturday to Monday. So it was me with the 3 kids. And I'll be honest with you, that's a tough weekend. That's, it's not, we can do it, but it's not as if that's a walk in the park to go 3 days with 3 kids solo. And the natural inclination in those moments is to retract, is to do less. But if we do less when it gets hard, what are we going to do the next time it gets hard? We're going to do less again. And we have these seasons all the time. And I've talked about this ad nauseum, where we just kind of continue to push the ball down the line and more and more stuff comes up. But this is as good an opportunity as any to force yourself to finish strong so that you can start great. Finish strong so that you can start great. I'll do one final, but like one, I can't even guarantee it's the last analogy, so forgive me. But one more analogy with it is like, we're going to need to get a new car here soon, because we got, I don't know if I told you, I got into a car accident a couple weeks ago. It was not a huge thing, but it was enough of a thing.
Were you alone in the car?
Yeah, it was just me. It was like it was technically my fault, but it was also like, I don't feel like I did anything. I was trying to back onto a road, and there were 2 cars parallel parked in the direction I was trying to back into. So I was just like backing onto a main road blind, basically. And so I looked, I'm like, I don't see anybody. I'm going to try to go. And then the person came kind of out of nowhere because they were right behind the parallel car. It was just like, okay, what are we going to do? So I kind of backed into it, and everybody was fine. Everybody walked away okay. But it was in our old car, which 2014, like 150,000 miles. We were not long for this car anyway. But this certainly moves up the timeline, because it's like, I'm not going to sink $1,000 deductible into fixing this car when, we're going to ditch it in a year anyway. And then, we go to the shop for, just normal maintenance on it, oil change and things like that. And they're like, hey, we're going to recommend these 6 things probably ought to get done as well. Like, you got probably, another couple of months left on your tires. You got probably another couple months left on your brakes. You got, I'm like, dude, it was like $2,800 or something like that. I'm like, I'm not like, to fix this car and make it run again is more than the car. And so it's like, okay, this is not ideal in terms of timing. So we're like, okay, we're going to look at, getting ourselves a new car. And the process through which we have to go and buy this car now is much less pleasant than if we were kind of doing it on our own terms.
Because you feel rushed and pressured and
feel like we have to do it now.
mm-hmm.
You know, like we don't have a ton of life left on the car. And you know, all things being considered, it's not the worst time of year to buy a car. But we've also been in this spot with basically all of our biggest purchases that we've made in our lives. Like we had to buy our house because we didn't have room in our apartment. And so we closed on our house 3 weeks later, the twins were born. Like and a month before that, we bought a minivan because we needed a car big enough to put the 3 car seats. And so there haven't been a lot of decisions that we've made, like in terms of big purchases over the last several years that have been like, okay, yeah, we feel like this is what we want to do right now. We're going to go do this. And to be able to just kind of do it on our own terms makes it way more stressful to start into something that should be a positive thing.
Should be
like,
good. Should
like
be fun.
Buying a house is always going to be stressful, but like you should be ideally like excited. Hey, this is cool. Like new chapter. Yeah. Like getting a new car should be ideally like a cool thing, like whether it's new or new to you, whatever it is. It's like, hey, cool. Like we're moving up in car, you know, like we're going from a 2014 with 150,000 miles and a, you know, broken back bumper. There's only up from there, you know what I mean? Like there's not even if we don't get a new car, like there's only up from there. But because we are put into a position, and now this is a little bit outside our circumstances, but it's a little bit not, because we've done, you know, whatever it is, or not outside of our control. We're put into a situation where starting is more stressful than it needs to be because of how the last thing finished. And again, this isn't an exact analogy, but it's the idea of whenever we sell this house, if I don't make these changes, it's going to make the selling of the house and the buying of the next house more stressful than it needs to be because I didn't finish the other things well. And so not finishing makes starting less pleasant, like more stressful, more of a task, more difficult. And I don't know of a lot of people who, you know, at least try to start the new year not optimistic, right? Whether or not you're a big New Year's person or whatever it is, like I think everybody at least takes the opportunity to try to have some level of optimism going into the year. Like, hey, things are going to be a little different, whatever it is. New year, new opportunity, even if you're not going new year, new me, which I think is a mistake. Anyway, but if you're going into it with at least some level of optimism, people are at least idealistic about it to some degree. Why do people end up having a bad taste in their mouth though around New Year's?
Generally, you're reminded of what you told yourself last year that you were going to do that you didn't.
So because you didn't finish, now it impacts how you started. And because everybody starts. Like most people start. Like there aren't a lot of people who do the never tried thing. Even if you try very poorly or for a short amount of time, like never give it the old like true college try. There's not a lot of people who like have literally never tried something that they've wanted for a long time. The challenge is finishing. And the problem is, this is the problem that I'm kind of identifying this as I go. We think, all right, buckle up. This was like a momentary like revelation articulation by me. We think that because I'm going to see if I can articulate this the way that I want to.
You got this. I have faith in you.
We start and then we stop. And we think that means that we can't finish because we didn't continue. Follow my logic here. So, like, we start in January and fail in February or fail in March or whatever it is. Like, we've fallen off. Mm-hmm. So then we think that we need to start again at whatever point, back where we were in January, versus thinking of it as picking up the baton or finishing the year, right? Like, why am I going to start again in December to finish the year when I could just start in January? You know, like we think that we can't finish because we never kept it going. Like finishing requires continuing. Finishing does not require continuing. Finishing requires, once you've started, then you, at some point, you pick up from wherever it was that you were and you keep going. Okay. So a little bit of an odd analogy or a little bit of an odd thing, but I think framing it this way will be helpful. I had a client who last week, like she had a couple tough weeks personally, like going on with a couple of things. And so we kind of went up to maintenance. We were just kind of chilling for a couple of weeks while she just kind of dealt with life a little bit. And she's like, okay, I'm back. And then Tuesday, like she had a whole plan for the week. And it was particularly that the weekend was going to have a couple of things that she was going to indulge in. So she was like going to be really locked in during the week. And then Tuesday, something happened outside of her control. And she was up at or a little bit above maintenance on Tuesday. And she said to me when I checked in with her, she was like, I was just really hoping for a solid week, you know, at that point. And two ways to think about that. One is, okay, we can finish the week strong, which is 100% true. Like we can finish the week strong. Like we had a hiccup, we can finish the week strong. Still plenty of time left in the week. And I think that absolutely is a valid way to do it. The other way that we can think about it is like, why does the week have to start on Monday? Mm-hmm. The week can start on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And we go Wednesday to Wednesday. And we crush this week. Why does the year have to start in January? Why can't we start it in December? Especially if we've, like, listen, if you started in January before and you failed and then you started again in March, but you didn't really start again in March, you're just continuing. Like you had a hiccup. Like, just like, let's just pick it back up when we have the opportunity to do so versus trying to make it be in a situation where it's like, I have to have something be start to finish. I told you I wasn't done with analogies. Nope. Reading. I did a thing a while ago. I haven't done it in a while because I realized that this is how my brain works. Like read through the Bible in a year, like cover to cover. That's just not how I read my Bible anymore, because what would end up happening is you read the Bible in the year plan and you have to do it 100% of the days, and there's no opportunities for like whatever. And so then you get behind, and then it gets to be a point where it's like, okay, it's June and I'm where I should be in April. And then I'm like, all right, I'm never going to finish this in the year. So then I kind of just punt on it and start again back at the beginning in January again. Mm-hmm. As opposed to being like, why can't I just change the timeline?
Mm-hmm. Like your year can end in April if you needed to.
Finishing strong does not require me to continuously keep going. It's just finishing the task that I set out to do. It's not about the timeline within which I do it. So if the task that I set out to do was to be consistent with my nutrition, with my fitness, or take care of my health, or lose weight, or whatever the task that I set out to do is, just because you at one point stopped does not mean that you cannot still finish. This room behind me, I didn't finish it in the timeline that I thought it was. Do I have to tear down all of the walls and start it again because I didn't put the door on there? No. It would be silly for me to do so. Now, am I going to have to do a couple of things? Is it going to be slightly harder to do right now than if I had just done it then? Yes, of course it is, because I'm going to have to pull all the stuff away from the walls. I'm going to have to relay down, you know what I mean? Like, I've lived in this space now for 2 years. Like, it's going to be harder for me to do it. But does that mean that I have to start again from scratch? No, I maybe take a half a step back, but I'm still finishing the task that I set out to do.
Mm-hmm.
Continuity is not required for, oh, this is the line. Continuity is not required for completion.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
I just came up with that. I feel really good about that.
I'm pretty impressed.
It's not required for completion. It just means that you're actually way less likely to complete something if you keep starting at the beginning. And I did this, like with the Bible in a Year thing. Like, I just started it over every year for like 3 years, and I read Genesis. I read Genesis through through Deuteronomy like 7 times,
Yep.
And then I get to the end of like, Leviticus again, and I'm like, oh my gosh, man, I don't know if I can read this again. Like, what am I, and I'm never getting to the, to the rest of it. Because I can just keep starting over and doing the same basic stuff again versus being like, okay, let me just refresh my memory. It's like if you're watching a show and you have to pause it in the middle of the episode, you don't go back and start the episode totally over, but you might go back 2, 3, 4 minutes and refresh where you were, but then you finish the episode. You don't have to do it all in one sitting in order to get everything that you can out of it. And you also don't have to start it over because you have to do it in one sitting. You can just finish. And what does finishing set you up to do? With the show, it sets me up to start the next episode because I'm like, finished, on to the next one. Cool. It's going to make me way more likely to do it. It makes me more interested in, like, I can read the next thing when it comes to the Bible. I can do the next project. I can be excited for the next house because I can go get the next car because I'm doing this on my own terms because I did just a little bit. Like, if we had done a couple of things differently with the car that we had, we would just ride it around with the bumper being a little bit broken for 6 months. Like, it's not impacting the ability for the car to work, but because we didn't do a couple of things along the way, because we were like, we're probably close to done with this car. We just like didn't do a couple of things that we could have done. And now it's too much. Mm-hmm. If we had just done a little bit along, and so now it's too much. And so now we have to totally restart and get a whole thing and do it not on our own terms. And so if we're going to finish the year, like, just finish the year. You got a whole ass month. Like, you're going to punt on a month? Like a whole month. Because it's not January? Because you're going to have a couple of parties?
When you say it out loud, it sounds so dumb that we would do this, but we do. So it's nice to hear it so it sinks in a little.
I'll finish with this. There's a commercial that came out a few years ago. I honestly don't remember what it was for, but you probably remember it. It was of like a grandfather. I've done a post on it.
One. Oh, I love this commercial.
And I'll do this every time. I'll do this post again because I've done it every year for the last couple of years. There's this grandpa. If you haven't seen it, just like YouTube grandpa kettlebell Christmas commercial, and you'll find it. But there's a grandfather who he goes into the shed and he pulls out this kettlebell and he's like dragging it along because it's like way too heavy for him. And he starts like trying to lift it and it's hard and he's getting weird looks from his wife and from his neighbors. And he's just doing this every day. He's going out there trying to do it. And then he starts doing like where he's trying to like lift it off the ground and it's really hard. And then he tries to extend it out in front of him and he can't hold it out in front of him. And you're like, what is he training for?
Mm-hmm.
And then finally he gets really strong at it. Like it's like a Rocky montage, right? Where he's just doing it over and over and over. And he gets really strong at it, where he can lift it up and he can stretch it out in front of him with both of his hands. And then you're like, what is he training for? Then it's Christmas, opens the door, and little girl comes running down the steps, his granddaughter, and Grandpa, and she's like, basically, can you help me put the star on? And he lifts her up and he extends her out in the exact same motion that he has been doing with the kettlebell, and she puts the star on the top of the tree. And it, like, I'm getting welled up thinking about it, because it's a top 3 commercial ever created, like ever done. It is one of the greatest commercials ever, and it's the only reason it's not number 1 is I don't remember what the commercial was for. I think it was like,
and no one's talking about what the product was.
Yeah. If you probably watched the whole thing, I feel like it was,
it's got to be Hallmark or something.
Hallmark, or like, Create Moments or whatever it is. But why do I share that story? And I share it every year this time of year. Okay. 1, when you start, it is going to feel incredibly difficult. Mm-hmm. In the middle, it's going to feel incredibly difficult. And you're going to wonder why you're doing it. And you need to have a big enough why. And there's a clip of the commercial where has the kettlebell, where he's got a picture of his granddaughter, like in a frame. We don't see her, but we have the picture frame up. We're like, what is he looking for? So you need to have a big enough why. But this is the final component of it, which is what I love so much about that. And this is the thing for me that gets me like, it kind of gets me, is finishing is at some point what we're doing in our lives. Like we're like constantly opening chapters and closing chapters in our lives. Mm-hmm. Like Levi started kindergarten, like part of his like pure childhood, that chapter closed. Like we finished a certain part of his childhood this summer. Mm-hmm. The twins turn 4 tomorrow as we record this. Like, that's wild to me.
Wild.
Because they were just born. Like we had 300. Like I was like, we have 302. We have 300. Now we have 305. Mm-hmm. Like, who cares? Like that doesn't feel that weird. But we have 3 very close together. But like we have 2 4-year-olds and a 5.5-year-old. And it's like, oh my gosh, like this is becoming that. It's what you said at the beginning with the makeup. It's like we're constantly closing chapters and opening new ones. And I think as we get older, we close more and more and more. We're focusing on finishing more and more and more. Mm-hmm. And this moment is like, how do you want to finish in that commercial? Like, how do you want to finish? And that was the mark of like, hey, it's not like that guy didn't do it continuously. Like this is the thing for me that like is where he pulled the weight out and it was dusty in his shed and he couldn't lift it. Like he had not been doing it continuously. It's not like this is a guy who's like, oh man, I've been in shape for forever and now I can do all this stuff with my granddaughter. Like he chose to finish. Mm-hmm. He chose to finish, even though he probably in the moment that he pulls it out and probably all throughout the process of lifting it, the first, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long he was doing it, the whole process, he was probably like, You know what I really wish I would have done? This earlier and then not stopped. Everybody wants to. Everybody, like, I wish that I had done the dang door when there was nothing on the floor. Like, of course you wish the best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago. The next best time is today. Because you can't go back and undo the fact that you didn't do it before. Mm-hmm. But continuity is not required for completion. So will you finish regardless of what's been happening along the way? It's like a race. It's like a race, you know? Like, we're not, if I went to run the Boston Marathon, I'm not placing.
No.
I'm not trying to win. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to finish. If I have to walk for a portion of it, I can still finish. Even if it like didn't go the way that I wanted it to. Even if my goal was to not walk and I do walk, I still can finish. Because what does finishing do? It gives me the opportunity to start again with a different perspective. If I had to walk during a marathon that I wasn't planning to walk and I still finished, I would be like, you know what? I finished. I can at least go that far. Now let me see if I can do the next thing, which is to run it continuously, right? His daughter or his granddaughter is going to be heavier the next year. Mm-hmm. He's going to, like, what does the next year of his life look like? Probably dramatically different than if he goes, I don't have enough time to do it right now. How you finish determines how you start. How you start can sometimes determine how you finish, but how you finish determines how you start. I said it every year. December is the Friday after the new of the calendar year. Like, will you set yourself up for success on Monday? It's even less about everything that you accomplish in this month, but like, will you just finish? Don't waste a whole month because of 7 meals and 3 days of travel. Like, come on now. Like, the math just doesn't math on that, guys. I hope that this was useful for you. We will kind of slightly pivot away from this topic to some more, tactical things over the course of the next few episodes, and then revisit with some New Year's stuff for how to start the year with episodes at the end of the year and the beginning of the new year. But I'm going to tell you the truth, and this is my final thought for the day. Those episodes will be far less valuable to you if you do not take action on this one. Mm-hmm. It's going to be harder if you try to do it in January than if you just do anything now. Don't take a 0. Don't not do the 3rd page, 4th page, whatever it is that I said. Finish strong. Appreciate you listening. Reminder about the Black Friday thing, last chance. This has been the Fit Parent Podcast. Talk to you soon.